You're listening to the Spiritual Highways Podcast with Leigh Ann and Michelle.
Hi.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm good.
It's been a little while.
It has. We totally forgot how to set up our. Well, excuse me. I totally forgot how to set up our little
where
tent.
are we going? What are we doing?
Yeah, where am I? What's going on? I totally forgot. Like, I came in here and I was just like chilling on the couch,
Lounging.
waiting for Michelle to finish. And she's like, you think you could like start setting things up? I just completely forgot.
You're like, no, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm okay. Really, I'm fine.
I'm just gonna wait here.
Yeah, you do it so well.
Right,
You know,
right.
I don't want to take that from you.
I guess I'm just not very good at it.
Yeah, I don't want to take that from you. I don't want to take it from you.
You're thoughtful.
I know.
You're so thoughtful.
It was my birthday yesterday, so I'm like,
I know, you get a birthday pass.
that's right.
And
So
you're getting older, and you don't really want to throw out a muscle or
oh my
anything
god, too
extra.
late.
I know.
Too late.
I know.
Too late. I'm and I have a back bend clinic tomorrow.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, and I've like pulled something in my leg that I'm like looking in my book going, I don't know that muscle is real. Like, I don't even know what it is. There's something going on. So
Do I have a fake muscle?
yeah.
It's real hurting?
Yeah, like I'm looking at this book and I'm like trying to look at the little pieces and I'm going, nope, that's not where it's at. Maybe it's because whatever I pulled isn't where it's supposed to be. I don't know. That would not surprise me at all.
That would not surprise me at all for you.
No, not at all.
That would be literally on point.
That's right. So it feels weird that it's been a while, but
I know, but it feels good to be back here.
I agree. And we were just thinking about like some of the things that's happened in a month. There's
I know,
a lot.
like so much happened, but if you ask me about it, I'm like,
I know. And what's so interesting is that like you go straight to text messages, which makes me want to just vomit. And I'm like,
you can't even read them the first time, let alone go back and read them the second time.
Not interested, thanks. But I'm like, I'll go to my camera roll because surely I took a random picture. So that kind of gives me a visual. So it's so
Timeline.
weird.
Yeah. I went for words and you went for images.
That is so not surprising, right?
No, not at all.
No. Well, I mean, we've done you guys, I hope you enjoyed the bamboozled. Bean boozled, whatever. That thing of the gross. Never going to do that
We put
again.
it on YouTube.
Yes.
But, I don't recommend it. That whole bag smelled like spoiled milk.
Oh.
It was just, you didn't smell the bag because I had the bag over by me. It was disgusting.
The one
But it was
time,
funny.
yeah, it was hilarious. One time I forget my toothbrush and I will
Hey,
regret
look,
it.
God came through on the back end there.
He totally did. And I mean, it finished us up with the last one I tasted was a toothpaste.
So you finished that one.
I totally felt like I was living my life.
That
like,
one did not get spit out.
That's
one
right.
you kept.
I just felt like I was doing
something right.
Right, had to be because I mean that just doesn't even happen. So yeah, that's happened. I was trying to.
We
think.
still haven't malabeed.
We have the mala beads. So.
We have them. We just have not put them together, and we're gonna get on that eventually at some point.
Absolutely.
On the same day that we float at the Go Float place.
Yeah. Well, there's
No,
that.
I feel like the mala beads might happen sooner.
Absolutely. I think maybe so.
I don't know. But it's summertime, and summertime is hard for me because the kids are home, and like, so my free time when they're in school is no longer really my free time. Mm-hmm. And so summers are a little harder to juggle.
Yeah. And then
life.
you want to be outside and like active and stuff. I know, that's okay. I mean, it just happens.
I know, we're just I'm having to like deal with the change of school schedule versus summer schedule, which I'm okay with summer schedule. I like it. Like, I let them stay up late. I let them sleep late. Like, I don't have the hectic morning routine, which is nice. That's a nice change. I look forward to that part of it. But then, there's just other things where you're normally like, I have a day to get things done and run errands or do something for myself that during the summertime, I don't necessarily have that. And so that part of change kind of like, Yeah. And then I feel bad that I feel bad about it. You know what I mean? Like I feel guilty. Mom guilt creeps in.
Oh, absolutely. I remember that.
Yeah.
I mean, it still happens on occasion.
Right,
but,
right.
No, I've been staying.
But you don't have as young as me. Like, I have an 8.
Yeah, mine are pretty
Yeah,
self-sufficient.
so like
you
my
know?
older two, they're like, yeah, hey, bye, you know.
Yeah.
But the younger one's like, hey, look at me, hey, you
Oh
know.
yeah, my 12-year-old he told I'm like, hey buddy, you want to hang? Where do you show me something? Do you want to hang out? And he's like, we did this already. Like, leave me alone.
We've done this in the past week, so
yeah,
I'm good.
I'm gonna need you to back away from me. So I'm like, okay, I'm here if you need me. Just saying, hey. So that's pretty much the way it works. But
I have that third one bringing up the rear.
oh yeah, and he's a very inquisitive one too. But
he's a little chatterbox.
no, but I get it. I'm still transitioning with the whole moving my art different places. I'm now
I know you're now in this.
yes,
in Baton Rouge.
yes, Beanie Ladue. If you're
My
in
old
the Baton Rouge-
stomping grounds.
That's
I
right.
love those ladies.
They are a wonderful group of ladies. So if you're in the Baton Rouge area, around
By Monjuni's restaurant
Yeah.
in the Goodwood Village Shopping Center.
Yeah, go in.
They're there, and
they're super sweet, awesome place.
Yeah.
And so, so I just went and dropped off a bunch of art there, and yoga kind of like has taken over my little world quite a bit.
It really has.
It is a lot of work, both physical,
Like not
mental,
just going
emotional.
to classes. Like you have to do stuff every day. Like this is hardcore.
Oh yeah, it's probably like it's not probably. It's like doing the whole thing every day is about 2.5 hours worth of work. Whether it be journaling, breathing, and learning poses, and in addition to other things. But it's so rewarding, and I've learned a whole lot from
awesome.
it. So it's amazing how you do these little bitty things for so long, and you don't see any result. And I am kind of like, I rebel against myself often. And so some of the things that I'm like, oh, I can't do this right now. It's funny when I just accept that and say, okay, for like, I guess a few weeks, we were supposed to journal every day. And my whole, everything about me was like, no, we're not doing this.
I think I even gave you an out because I was like, well, you're writing.
Yeah, well, but it's
You're
not
writing. I know, but I was like, you're writing, so that's good.
Yeah, but poetry is not really what I should be journaling about. And you know what?
I was just trying to help.
This is the horrible thing, is that the only person that this is really for, this section, is for me and my own growth. So why I choose to rebel against myself is beyond me. But
that would be like about right.
Oh, total classic Leigh Ann. Totally. But in that, I have totally embraced where I'm at, though. Like, I gave myself the time to say, okay, I'm not going to force myself to do things that I just don't want to do. And I didn't. And all of a sudden I started doing it, and I was like so empowered. It started just flowing. And so I've like filled up a notebook. I'm like, I just had all this stuff that was floating inside of me that just needed to come out. It just needed to, like, I don't know. It needed to ripen.
But you know what? That goes back to what you tell. I hear you tell people, like,
if I could just take my own advice, I'd be doing okay.
You'd be like perfect, like Mary Poppins. But when you say you can hear it all day, but until you feel it and know that it's right for you, you're not going to get it. And there you are with your journaling. You had to feel it. You do say that. Yes, you do. See, I listen to what you say.
That's amazing.
Probably because I read your texts.
That's right. Hey, guess what? I need to start texting myself, evidently.
Maybe.
Hey.
No, you should not text yourself.
Yeah.
You wouldn't read it.
There's not much I was going to say leave a voicemail, but that doesn't tend to help either.
Take a picture.
Yeah.
Take a
might do
picture.
that.
Yeah.
And I may go back.
Make a postcard, put it here, and take a picture.
Hey, let's try it. But and one thing I did have to say, my mouth has gotten me in trouble in yoga because
I am shocked.
I know, it's very shocking.
I'm actually shocked it took this long to get you in trouble.
True.
I'm shocked that it didn't happen sooner.
She does fuss at me for saying sorry so often. Like, I do get in trouble for that. And then my response to that is, oh, I'm sorry. I'm like, damn. Ugh. So, anyways, but no, in our last episode, I believe, or at some point or another, we had talked about letting go. Well, that just so happened to correlate what we were discussing in yoga, and we were talking about letting go and doing some certain practices in helping with this. And my response when it was my turn to have the floor was, letting go sucks. And I hate it. And I was very not positive. Not even a little bit. And so she leaves and we get home, and sometimes she'll give us our assignments later. Well, I get home and I look at it, and we have to write a paper, okay? And it's called Exhaling, the Beauty of Letting Go. Yeah.
Burn.
Yeah, so I went out on a limb and I was like, I'm quite sure that...
That's your fault.
Yeah, this is totally my fault. Well, after we turned our papers in, which was the one time that I'm late with my paper, she does, break the news to me that, well, because Leigh Ann said letting go sucks and leaves all the, she didn't want me to set the tone for everybody else's perception. And so we had to write that paper. But what's interesting enough is the timing of that. From, we had 3 weeks before I had to turn that paper in. And so within that 3 weeks, I had to experience letting go, or had been experiencing letting go. And then letting go of experiencing letting go. And then experiencing having let go. And that was beautiful. Like, to really, okay, this is what I've got to do. Now I've got to do it. Now I get to reap the rewards. That's when the beauty. Yeah. So there is no beauty in
getting
letting
on the
go.
backside of
Absolutely.
it.
So my paper was really, there is no beauty in letting go. There's beauty in having let go. And that was
no, that's great though.
But that's what I got from it, was that, you had to like.
But it's hard. We avoid stuff like that.
We do.
We avoid it at all costs. And that's, I really love that. What is it? There's no beauty in letting go, like the letting go process. The beauty is when you have let go. That's good.
When, there's a difference.
Yeah.
And just like I was speaking to someone a few weeks ago, and there's a difference. They had been going through like a spiritual awakening and like this process. And I think that that's also a 2-part process. There's learning about it, knowing what the general, like what it looks like, I don't want to even use the word what it looks like.
Or how to apply it, or the data, or like, whatever.
Yeah, you're
the information.
Exactly. You're educating yourself. This is what the information is in learning about spirituality. There's a difference when you apply it. Huge.
And it's hard to apply it every day.
Oh, yeah.
Because I can read things and it totally like just clicks for me, and I'm like, oh, this is so peaceful, blah, blah, blah. And then the next day, it's like completely out of my mind. I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I was in a good place. Like, let me get back to that information again.
That's like having a wonderful day, and it's like, I remember having like such great days that I'm going, I want to wake up and relive. I want it to be Groundhog's Day, like the movie Groundhog's Day.
But I want to pick the day that's Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
Because the movie was not a good day for him.
I don't. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But no, like, I want to repeat this day. What did I eat for breakfast? How many hours did I sleep? And it just doesn't happen. But
how many steps did it take me to get down the hole?
Exactly. I haven't figured out that magic potion, but I don't know that that's.
I think that it's just deciding that the day is going to be good. So whatever comes your way,
mm-hmm.
I mean, you either look at it through love or fear.
Absolutely.
So it's just, how are you going to let the day? Don't let the day dictate you. You dictate the day. Like, so if you go looking for bad things to happen, bad things are going to happen. If you go looking for good things, you're going to see the good in the things that happen.
Right. And I think it's, I guess using your bad days, you can really kind of see what things you need to change, or what things that are continuing to happen. As a matter of fact, we were just listening back to some old podcast, and one of the first things that we were talking about was that something's going to keep coming up until you address it. So what keeps happening in your life that's going to trigger those things that you need to change? And that has honestly been a theme in most of the readings that I've given within the past few months, really, is, okay, where are you coming from? Where's this information and this trouble that you're having? Where is it stemming from? And is this something that's continuing to happen over and over again? Okay, well, it's going to continue to happen over and over again unless you change something.
Right.
And so,
because sometimes behavior that you're dealing with in the present has nothing to do with the actual event that caused the current behavior.
absolutely.
And sometimes it could be completely, like, totally not even in the same thought process of the behavior.
Absolutely.
Completely random, but it built up and built up and built up, and you're trying to push it away, push it away, push it away. So you create these other behaviors. And so then the behavior becomes the issue.
That's the bucket theory.
Yeah.
That spirit
Yeah.
has the bucket theory, and that's the sludge in the bottom of the bucket. And it just keeps coming up, and the stuff that's when your bucket's overflowing, that's the stuff that has
Has nothing to do with what was.
No, indeed. And so, but that is something that, like I said, has come up in so many readings from spirit, and that it just keeps coming up over and over, and it's well, dig deeper. Where does it come from? It's not, you're not really fighting about, who left the light on. That has nothing to do with it. The pent up aggression that person has
Right.
has nothing to do with the light switch.
Well, and I have to say, I've been reading a book, and in the book it says there's always going to be hard conversations, and it depends. The outcome is going to depend on if you go into it in fear or into it with love. And so sometimes you can have that hard conversation. Obviously, it's not a light switch situation, but because we avoid the hard conversations. We do. We walk around on eggshells around each other, and we don't have the hard conversations. And sometimes you can build up in your mind where you think it's going to go, and then have all these different outcomes, and you're just afraid of it, and you panicked about it and whatever. But if you approach it through love, like, hey, I don't want to have this conversation anymore. Like, I want to have it once, and I want to grow past it. Then the other person that you need to talk to about it is going to go, well, yeah, I want to work through it too, because they don't want to be fighting over a light switch any more than you do.
Well, you say fear, and I think fear and anger or built up animosity. Like, you get so used to having this like tension and this built up animosity.
Well, it becomes a dance.
No, but that becomes,
and it's not like, it's like this little back and forth, and that becomes the new normal.
Well, yeah, but it's like having a friend that you can talk to. Like, you and I talk deep all the time,
always.
right? And we don't know how to really be anything.
I know.
I
can't be.
We don't do
way.
small talk well.
No, we don't.
Or it's that person that you laugh with all the time. If you have to have a serious conversation with someone that you only joke with, that's uncomfortable.
Right.
If I had to sit here and actively make small talk with you.
Yeah, like, so how about that weather?
Yeah,
We'd be like,
I would rather just not know you. Like, I just wouldn't want to hang out. Honestly. I mean, I love you, but I just would not.
That's not what we get from each other.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so when you're dealing with somebody that you've built this, you once had a great thing with, and now you're only working on animosity and anger and resentment, then it's like, okay, taking that step back. I just gave a reading that was just like this. And, it's taking that step back and saying, okay, I need to approach this from a totally different angle, because obviously the dynamic that we're working with right now is not working.
You know what? Okay, wait a minute. Something happened right before we hit record.
Okay.
You walked out of the room.
Oh.
And I said, hey, turn the air off. Because when the air is running and we're recording, it makes this background noise.
Mm-hmm.
So we try to keep it off. But we run it before so we don't get too hot while we're recording. And I heard you said, okay, yeah, I turned it up. Well, it didn't cut off. And then you went to go grab something. And I'm like, hey, check it again and make sure you turned it off. And you were like, I turned it off. And I'm like, okay, well, just double check that you turned it up and not down. And you're like, I'm pretty sure I turned it up. It's going to take a minute. And by the time you got to the thing, it cut off. And I went, oh, okay. And you came in, and I knew that I was kind of being like a nag about it, right? Mm-hmm. And you walked and sat down on the couch, and I'm like, hey, look, I was telling you that because a couple of hours ago, I thought I turned it up, and I turned it down. And so it never would cut off. So I was asking you to check on it based on what I had done, not on what I think you had done. And it was a matter of perception. Like you didn't know what I had done a couple of hours ago.
No.
So you're sitting there probably going, "Oh my God, Michelle, I know how to work a thermostat."
Yeah. I'm like, okay, I'll check it, but I'm pretty sure I did this.
Pretty sure I know how to push a button.
That's right.
And so I think
That's a perfect example.
that's true that's a very benign example. But it's
very relevant.
it's
It
very
does make
relevant. My perception was coming from a place based on what I had done.
Right. And really, it didn't affect me as much as I mean, like for a split second, I was like,
Chill out, Michelle.
Yeah, she's getting a little hostile over the whole AC unit. I mean, I can switch it to off and not just push up. That was what I was going to do when I went over there.
Right.
And but then it was like by the time I went from the thermostat to sit back down on the couch, I'm like, it was over and finished with.
Oh yeah, you're gone. Yeah.
Right, but which is interesting too because you had this huge revelation, which makes total sense, honestly, about this perfect example.
Yeah.
And so how you expected for me to react to it was based on your own thoughts and experiences.
I was expecting you to come in here and be frustrated with me because of what I was kept harboring about.
How intense she was about getting the AC fixed or turned off.
Right. And you're just like, okay, whatever, moving on.
Yeah.
Because that's what you do. And but then I felt the need to explain it, and then that's where we found the aha moment. Like, wait a minute,
right?
Because that could apply to so many things.
Absolutely, because I think a lot of times, your role, that person coming in the room wouldn't have written it off. When you're talking about a thermostat, it's easy just to move on. Correct.
But when you're talking about a real issue, you coming back in the room, you're going to be like having a problem with where I'm coming from if we're dealing with obviously a real issue and not the AC.
Right.
So that is where problems come into play because we're both operating from different perceptions.
Right. And I think I see it a lot with like couples, with like married couples, as well as with siblings. You would not believe the sibling rivalry. Yes, that happens so often with grown-ups too. And it's just if people would take the moment and just step back and say, okay, it's going to be uncomfortable, but let me look at the whole picture. Let me step back as though I'm looking at someone else's problem and look at it from their standpoint. So much can be resolved from just doing that. It's unbelievable, but it's uncomfortable because one thing to sum it up, I'll say what Spirit said in one of my last readings was let the change that you're making be what empowers you. So let change empower you.
That's great. That's huge.
Oh yeah. Oh, it was very a very powerful statement, and I think that it goes into identifying what change needs to be made, and then letting go, and having faith that everything will be okay. And that's the big takeaway I know from in the readings is that at the end of the day, you have to have faith that you're going to be okay, with however it ends up happening.
Right. It's true, and I feel like there's change that has to be happen in reactions, but also in actions, like how you approach a situation, what you're going to do to change the situation if it's a repetitive thing that's not good in your life, or if it's in a relationship. Okay, how are we going to change this? But also, and on the backside of that, how you react to things happening in a situation.
Well, yeah, because I wrote this down from a reading from in the past, and it was that a person's actions don't always reflect how they feel on the inside. So how a person what you perceive and how they show that they're angry or they're upset or they just don't show up for you maybe, that action doesn't necessarily reflect how they are really feeling. It's just how they can convey that emotion. And sometimes they don't know what emotion that is there.
Right.
And so they're doing, they're acting like, oh, if I don't show up for you, it doesn't matter because
I'm not that important.
Right.
Even though you are that important.
Right. Meanwhile, you're looking at it and you're like, I just want you to show up. I'm just begging you to show up.
Right.
And so that's a perfect example.
And I think that's a really good example of that saying lost in translation.
Yeah.
Like it's just yeah.
Yeah.
And there's really nothing else to say there. I mean, I love that. Okay, so tell me again. Actions don't
reflect how someone feels on the insides. Actions don't always reflect how someone feels on the inside.
Okay. Sorry, I'm asking you to repeat stuff, but I want to.
No, it's good. But I think that so when you see these things that keep happening and they keep coming up, it's a call for change. And sometimes, so don't allow, so when you change something, you're going to have to actively do something different. And that alone is scary. So first you have to identify, okay, what's the problem? And then you're like, okay, I need to make, this is the part that needs to change. But a lot of times we're terrified over what it is, what does that look like, or what's going to happen, or how do I make that change happen? So you have to have faith that you're going to be okay regardless. But instead of when you do activate that change, when you are actively changing what you need to change in your life, that's scary because of the reactions of others and the result that you get from that action.
And the important part is not assuming what reactions are going to be.
Yes.
You have to have faith that I'm just going to do this and I will deal with the reactions as they come up. Don't already map out how people are going to react.
You don't have to know what it's going to look like.
You have to be naive, because if you already put weight on how you think someone's going to react, it will keep you from implementing change.
Well, I was about to say. It was
sorry.
No. Just like you took the word literally. This moment out of my head was that that's what probably. That thought pattern is why you haven't implemented the change to begin with.
Right.
Like a long time ago.
Right.
So instead of allow the unknown reaction to the change be what empowers you. So let change empower you. Know that when someone else's reaction to your change is like, oh my God, why are you doing this? Or this isn't like the norm for me. It's scary and they're going to be scared, but know in your mind, oh wow, that's progress. Like I'm seeing them freak out. Actually, I'm doing something differently. So I am actively trying to change.
To do something for myself that's healthy.
It's kind of like losing weight. You diet and you exercise, you're going through all this pain, and then it's when you button your pants and they're looser. It's like, oh, wow, this is great,
Yeah, it was worth it.
Exactly. So instead of letting that the reaction of others kind of bring you down, allow that to bring you back up, and I think that has definitely been something that I think Spirit has been definitely wanting.
It's a good message.
It definitely is, I think, for sure.
Well, I have to say, avoidance and change, there's been a topic we've been avoiding.
Yes. As a matter of fact, this goes completely full circle. And this change has been something happening since November. And I'm sorry, I'm trying to make sure that I kind of give it the right tone and depth that it needs. But another reason why we haven't really recorded is Spirit.
Yeah.
And I should say, when I say Spirit, just to kind of reiterate, Spirit is, divine, whether it be the angel department, the spirit guide department, the God department, or wherever it comes from, that department. Spirit has has given us a dose of what you if something's going to keep coming up until you deal with it. Well, the reason why I do what I do is because of because my friend that had suicided when I was a teenager. It's what gave me the knowledge that I needed to move on and whatnot. But one of the reasons why we have not recorded is because we just kept coming up with a brick wall.
Well, and then realizing that we were going to have to address this topic.
Correct.
And we actually went to a workshop so that we could empower ourselves to not be afraid to talk about the topic if someone needs help, that we would understand how to help someone in that situation. And
right.
It's literally helping someone get from point A to point B, not being a counselor or a therapist, but literally not being afraid to lean in and go, allowing someone the space to talk.
Correct. And we're talking about suicide in case we weren't completely clear. Because that is something that we've,
a lot of people are affected by that, have dealt with it. And so we knew that we were going to have to address it. And it literally was 6 months ago that we went to that workshop.
Right. But there's so much that had to be learned. And it makes sense now.
No, yeah.
That we had to experience. So much has happened. And just in one sector of the conversation. And that's really started to lead us where we are right now. And so we're working on putting together a couple episodes that are going to be really dedicated to this. This is something that's, like I said, near and dear to my heart, Michelle's heart, and it's an important topic.
Very important topic.
For not only our community, but,
all communities.
Everywhere. And so it's definitely, we're definitely being guided by spirit and a higher power to do this, and we just want to make sure that we're giving it the respect that we need. But it is obviously something that we've been avoiding. Not say avoiding. I don't want to say
but
that
just
we've been
kind of
avoiding.
like, okay, we'll deal with it. Okay,
right.
But now we know that we have to address it.
It's time.
It's time.
And so we welcome you to send in any of your thoughts. I know that we're just we're just kind of throwing it out there at this moment and let you know what we're working on. Mm-hmm. But with that being said, we welcome your feedback. If you've had experiences, if you want to talk about things, if you have ideas about what changes can happen
in our community, we want to know.
Let us,
because we want this to be something that it will be talked about and won't be pushed under the rug or wrapped a bow on it. We are ripping the Band-Aid off. We're taking the bow off, and we're going to talk about it because it needs to be a topic that is not hush-hush.
That's right.
And
shameful.
Or shameful. And we want to hear from people that have been touched by it. And you don't have to talk about it on the podcast, but if you want to share insight or you want to share a story, whatever it is that you feel like you need,
let that change
help
empower you.
Yeah, empower you. And you can go to our website and there's a form and it allows you to email us, and
you don't have to leave names. That's fine too.
You don't have to give us your name, or you can. Yeah. And but that's what we're going to be working on this summer, and we appreciate everyone listening and being a part of our show, and
so that is definitely going to be a driving force, and it feels good to find to get it out there.
To say it,
yeah, it really does.
Because now we know we're going to do it.
Yep.
So if you go to spiritualhighways.com, a little pop-up screen will load, and it'll allow you to put your information in and send us an email if you feel called to do that.
Yep. And we appreciate everybody that's caught up on our old podcast.
And I still have people like, I'm catching. I'm like, well,
hey,
we took a month off, so you have time to catch up.
Absolutely. So, but we appreciate everybody's concern. We're still here. We are ready. And so, like I said, we welcome all your thoughts and opinions, and we love you and thank you for all your support. And we couldn't do it without you.
We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to the Spiritual Highways podcast with Leigh Ann and Michelle. Catch up on past episodes at spiritualhighways.com, on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube, and more.